This is I. Hello everybody. This is I. So, I just want to give like a short opinion about the movie Rachel Divided. It's about Rachel Dolezal, who is was the leader of the NAACP. If you want to know more information about her, either watch the movie or research her. She's a very well-known person. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the movie. So there were three things that I liked about the movie, which was the camera. They used a very nice camera, and right along with that, Rachel Dolezal is an artist, and the camera that they used really picked up on her art, be it the collages, the paintings, as well as the hair braiding. Okay, and then the third thing is that it was very entertaining. Other than that, I thought that this movie was very exploitive. I thought that they were just trying to make this movie just to capitalize on her new fame, to capitalize on her name, and to use her name to make themselves more famous. I think that this movie came out of a negative place, a self-serving place. I don't think that this movie was truly about quote unquote race. I remember Netflix, as well as some other reviews that I read about this movie. People were saying, oh, it's to create a conversation about race in America. I do not believe that. I believe that this movie was created to make money at the expense of Rachel Dolezal. They never asked her any real questions about who she is. I mean, one thing that sticks out the most about this movie is that, hello, she's an artist. Why don't you ask her what inspires you to paint? Why do you paint? Where did you learn how to paint? They never asked her those questions that were just so obvious. Why do you love to braid hair? I mean, this is something that is right there, but nobody asked that question. She didn't talk about it. Why is being black important to you? Why do you consider yourself black? Those are the obvious questions that were not asked and were not answered during this movie. Also, for the most part, this movie is a bunch of people from social media, like videos that you can find on YouTube, Metacafe, Vimeo, etc., Instagram, of people just ranting and yelling and screaming at Rachel Dolezal and what they think she is or who they believe she is. You know, it's really just a platform for more people to get famous. I don't think this movie was about Rachel Dolezal. I believe it was more about people yelling and screaming at her. This movie has such a beautiful setting. Seeing her braids, close-ups on her braids, the art, but it's nothing but filled with negativity. And I wanted to bring up something because when Rachel Dolezal, when her story did break the media, I remember sitting at someone's house and people was like, "So what?" Like nobody cared, and also they really focus a lot on the negativity that people send to her on a daily basis, mainly through Instagram. And I know for a fact that every message that's posted or every comment that's posted about Rachel Dolezal is not negative. I know because I've actually sent her likes and comments and I've said nice things about her. And so everything that she does is not considered negative. In fact, there are people who like Rachel Dolezal. In fact, in the movie, there was only one scene where somebody said, "Hi, I've always wanted to meet you." And then they cut it off and went to the next scene. Um, and they should have explored that more because I think she was really brave. She had her newborn baby and she went to a Black Lives Matter protest. Why didn't they ask her about that? Why didn't they say, "Wow, you just had a baby. Why are you at a Black Lives Matter protest?" You know what I mean? And to me, I think she would have said, because nobody else is going to fight. I want to fight for this. And I thought that that was very brave, but the movie didn't delve into that. Like I said, I really think this movie was just created just to exploit Rachel Dolezal and her raw feelings. I think that this movie was filmed right when all of this was happening. And, you know, there's a lot of footage of her crying, but I just think this movie was very mean spirited. Now, Rachel Dolezal's book, Life in full color. Okay, so that's another thing about this movie is her writing her book, and unfortunately, she is telling you more in her book than in this show. This, if you want to know anything about Rachel Dolezal, this movie is not going to tell you anything. This movie is just gonna. This movie is just to bully her. I've actually read her book. I read most of it. There are parts that I did not read because I didn't feel comfortable reading. Not for any racial reasons or anything like that, just because it was really personal and I don't like to be in people's business like that. So in this book, she does talk about why she believes she's black. And she talks about her experience. She talks about even the small things like using cocoa butter and why it was important that people needed to learn, like why she needed to learn how to braid hair, learning how to cut hair. And those are things that some very obvious and open doors in this documentary that they chose to just not ask. Like, come on, she's braiding hair. That's a lot of questions you could have asked. You could have asked her, how do you do it? I bet you they would have more viewers if they had asked her that. And she gave a quick lesson on how to braid hair, which she's doing, as you can see right there. I think this movie was very mean spirited. I just really think that it came from a negative place, but they did it in a way that made it look pretty, so that it's still entertaining. But this movie is definitely good for being entertaining. But this movie was just exploitive. It was to hurt her. I think that they used this movie to like make her apologize. I kind of got that feeling like they were doing this to try to make her apologize. And I think that's messed up. I don't think that's nice. I think that the movie had a lot of backhanded insults and really underhanded little comments made about her. I think